Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It is Friday the 13th of October. I'm Nigel Croft. In this video we'll be looking at two UK and two US stocks. In the UK we'll first be looking at INFT Energy, INFT, which could soon break to the upside. We'll also look at Premier Oil, which has consolidated over a long period, could again look positive. And in the US, we'll look at two app stocks, Twitter and Snap. Let's look at those charts. So here we are starting with INFT Energy. And you can see that this is the weekly chart. The 20 and the 50 week moving averages, you can't differentiate them. It just looks like the yellow line. It's actually the yellow and the blue line. No, it's not going to show green. But they're both moving up and they're both giving support, which is good. Now, if we could move back up, you'll see a short-term resistance at the 17. Above there it's 20 to 21, which is resistance from the start of October and from April. It would be very good if we could get above that 21. It's got positive momentum. The RSI on the weekly is at 55.56, and you can also see that the MACD, the short term, is moving above the long term, and they're both moving above zero. Looking at the daily, and you can see we've got this flag pattern. We do need to break to the upside to confirm that. The moving averages are all moving upwards, 20, 50, 200. They're all giving support at the moment. 20 did have a golden cross with the 50 on the 2nd of October, which is a positive formation. I just feel it just needs a bit of volume. You can see that yesterday the volume was higher on a down day than it was on the previous two up days. We also had a day with no body on the 10th of October on the candle, which was an indecisive day, followed by a down day on high volume. It needs to go up. It is up today marginally, but it does need to be on higher volume. You can see that on the 20th of September when we had the big day up, there was good volume. We need that volume to return. The moving averages are looking good. Let's break above the resistance seen at 17, and then we'd test the 2021 resistance. RSI in a slight shallow downtrend, but is still above 50, which is indicative of positive momentum, 55.65. And quickly on the short term, the 4 hour, again you can see we found support at the 200. The 50 is the next support line we've gone through, which is good. You can see that we're maybe towards the upper boundary of the flag. Let's wait for that break. Okay, moving on to Premier Oil. We did have a potential head and shoulders, but we managed to break up from a confirmation of that, which was good. We're presently finding trouble at the 50-week moving average, which is just slightly moving down. That's causing a slight loss of momentum, although there is still upside momentum with the RSI 55.44. On the daily, you can see that the 20 and the 200 moving averages are both together. 20 is giving support, as is the 200, although the 200 is still tracking down, so it would be a concern if we went back below it. But if we could hold above the 20, hold above the 65 level, or get above the 65 level, that could be a positive. And this is a short-term flag that would be confirmed by a break above 67.15. RSI is still above 50, trying to break its downtrend as well, but the MACD are still tracking down, although they're above zero. it is a slight concern. The short term is below the long term, so keep your eye on that. But a move up to the 67 would break that MACD upwards, and it would all look then positive. And on the 4 hour, you can see that there's a battle going on between the downtrend in 20 average and the uptrend in 50. If we can get back above the 50, 65.21, that could give a push up, but at the moment the dominant factor seems to be that 20, which is pushing down. RSI is below 50 in a shallow downtrend, 49.9, and the MACD are again below 0, so keep your eye on those. Okay, moving across to the States. Twitter had a good day yesterday. This is the weekly chart. You can see it's taken us back above the 20 and the 50 moving averages. There is resistance up to 2021, so be aware of that. But it would be good if we held above these moving averages. There is positive momentum back in the stock, 55.81 on the RSI, and the MACD still flatlining but at the 0, and if we could have another move up on this weekly, they would start to signal a buy as well. On the daily, potential head and shoulder here with a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, but it looks like we're trying to break up through the right shoulder, which would be good. For that confirmation on that head and shoulder, it would need a fall back below 16.5. Yesterday's movement was very positive. It broke the resistance that we had from the 12th of September. Also the 50 moved back above the 200 and the 20 started to move back up as well, all very positive, and it was accompanied by positive momentum. The RSI is in an uptrend and at 62.57, and the MACD as well. The short term moved back above the long term above 0 and started to flash a buy signal. On the 4 hour, again it looks positive. We've broken the downtrend. If we went to the upper boundary of the present uptrend, that would take us probably up to close to 19.5, where there is some resistance. All the moving averages you can see are very close. The 20s just crossed the 50 in a golden cross formation, which is positive. Yes, the 200 is still moving down, but the 20 and 50 are back above it, and the 200 will start to turn. Positive momentum, RSI 66.97, and again a buy signal coming out from that MACD. Finally, moving on to the last stock we're covering today, that's Snap. Obviously not, it's a recent IPO, IPO'd in, when was it, February. Obviously the shares are lower than the IPO price, or actually I think it did IPO around the 17 from memory, and then had a good day on its first day, but certainly below the first day's trading. But yesterday we had a good move. That's taken us above the resistance of the downtrend in 20-week moving average. RSI is starting to tick back up in an uptrend, still below 50, but another up week will see that being positive. On the daily, you can see the last couple of days has been positive. That's been from a base of the 50-day moving average, which is now rolled down. So we've had this base building picture. The 20s now moving back up as well, so they're moving up in a bullish sequence. RSI has ticked to show positive momentum, 67.98, and really one can see the resistance at the 21.5 level. The first resistance though, 17.8, well around here, 17.15 up to 18.15. See that being tested. Above there, the resistance is at 21.5. And on the 4 hour, here we did have a a bullish golden cross as the 20 crossed the 50. We've gone right up through the 200, which is downtrending. That resistance didn't cause any problems with this stock, and you can see that we're set to test that resistance just above the 18 level. RSI indicative of very solid momentum, as is the MACD. So that's been TA for traders, looking at 2 UK stocks, Infinity Energy and Premier Oil, and also looking at, in the US, Twitter and Snap. I hope you found the video of interest. Please do remember, these videos are for information only and are my opinions, and they're not an investment recommendation. Please do read the disclaimer.